We are here. The Earthsea Day tournament is about to end, right? There's about 17 minutes of day one. And there's only 2 more days of ranked. Because there's only 2 more days of ranked, I want to talk about, what are some new decks that you might be able to use, or what are some decks you can do to secure Master Ball, top 10,000, top 5,000, whatever you're going for, yada yada. Also, if you just want to try a new deck, right? Got your high YouTubes out. So this is where we're at. I am in day 2. So this video will come out like tonight. Tomorrow morning I'll be live on YouTube and Twitch at twitch.tv/Jeudy, or just like my YouTube if you're watching it there. I went 6-2 using my version of Buzzwole. Buzzwole's still the best deck in my opinion. It's like very clearly the best deck. What I did, and I think that there's also clearly a defined best way to play it. A lot of people are doing double Erica, double Luzamine. If you're not using double Luzamine, you're trolling. A hand rip, 2 like Gus, whether that's double Cyrus, Sabrina Cyrus, or Pel Cyrus, yada yada. Guzma tends to be on a lot of these lists, Leaf Cape, etc. I decided that I only needed 1 Erica, and I took like a Giratina approach. As you can see, I'm running Erica, like only 1 Erica. Red was extremely useful. It's gotten multiple KOs. Thank you for asking, Time Read. Guzma, extremely good. Rocky Helmet, Leaf Cape, everything came in clutch. This is like, if you guys remember the Giratina format where Giratina would have 1 of every card, that's kind of what this deck felt like. It felt like every card was extremely useful. So this is my version. Another version I kind of want to highlight is Puffle. They were in chat earlier. They were using a similar, like as you can see, all these lists are gonna start looking the same. Double Lose, double Hand Rip, or not double Gust, a Hand Rip. This time it's Mars. I chose red card because I felt like I had too many supporters. Blue. So if you don't know, Leaf Cape plus Buzzwole gets you to 170. Blue allows you to live a 150, right? Blue also allows you to live if you are at 120 in the mirror match. Blue is a cool tech for the mirror, because if they try to hit you with a Buzzwole, they'll only do 110. So extremely cool tech. Not surprised to see them this well. If we're looking at just also the meta, I think there's a few things that we want to talk about, right? The meta is pretty damn. I think this is honestly the best meta we've had. I'm gonna say it, when the win rates of all these decks are pretty close to like 50%, right? Like 55% on the high end, 57% for Giratina. We'll talk about that later. I think we're in the best meta. It's very skillful. You liking Shadowverse? I am loving Shadowverse. But before that, I'm gonna get through this. I think the next important thing was that Guzzlord Nihilego was the second most used deck in this tournament. There's a few really strong lists. Notably, X Key is using a list based off of a really strong Japanese player, Kyura. They're running double PCL Beastite. But this is how most of these lists are going to look. Naganando is a lot weaker, but Naganando has pop-off potential. In tournaments, consistency is extremely valued. I mean, even in rank, consistency is extremely valued, right? I think this is the best version of way to play it. I do think I prefer Guzma in these lists. The droppable cards are 1 PCL, 1 Beastite, so you can choose. My list had like, I dropped these both for an extra red card and a Guzma, but really good list. It's also really good. Like, people are like, and obviously when I have my tier list, this is how my tier list was in the tier list video. I talked about it on stream earlier. I think Guzzlord has moved firmly to a top 3 deck in my mind. I think that Zeraora has dropped. And I think that the Simon deck, we're going to talk about this deck in a bit, has added it to B, right? And so my thought is that Guzzlord has a rough matchup into Buzzwole. Not rough, it's like 6-4. And Solg, but it beats everything else. And that's why you'd want to use it. Like, it destroys Charizard kind of handedly. It has a playable matchup into everything else. It's really cool. I would say that this is a top 3 deck right now, and it's a deck that I would use. Learn the matchup, though. You have to learn how to play against Buzzwole, because you don't want to lose to every Buzzwole you play against. But it's still a bad matchup. That said, I talked about the Greninja Oricorio. Let's talk about this list a little bit more. So this is essentially the Simon Game Dev. They're a streamer. They're currently in the top 10. They're playing for number 3, because if you look at the ladder, it's impossible to hit top 3 anymore. I mean, it's impossible to hit top 2 anymore. So they're playing for top 3. And this is their list. They've played this list. the entire month. It has not changed. What has changed is the meta, right? Where in the past, this deck had a rough, not the best matchup into Silvally Rampardos, but Silvally Rampardos fell off a cliff. And this matchups that you're going to be expecting is go really good into Charizard, really good into Buzzwole. And because it's really good into Charizard and good into Buzzwole, this ends up becoming an extremely, extremely potent list. I think Simon had like a 66% win rate versus Buzz, which is insane. So if you're looking for like an anti-meta deck that, you know, you're playing a lot of Buzzwoles, you're playing a lot of Charizards, this is the best deck list to beat both of those. Other than that, I think that the other deck I kind of wanted to talk about, it is like obviously there's a lot of Charizard lists at the top. There's a few interesting ones. There's a Charizard Shiinotic list. I don't know how I feel about this list, I'm going to be honest, but it's in day 2. Like, I think it's guaranteed, right? They're 6-2, they're guaranteed. They lost the Shiinotic Mag, which is even more legit. I talked about it just a little on the last meta update, but it's a real deck. But yeah, this is just like you're basically turboing out for Zard. You kind of just lose to Oricorio, but like whatever. I would say Stoutland is not on the tier list, but I would put Stoutland about the same area as I would put Charizard decks. All Charizard decks are like Gamba, but they're all strong for a reason. They're all good into Buzz. This one is just like a little bit more consistent with Shiinotic. And finally, another deck, like I said, that's been pretty much everywhere this final week of ladder. Like for like reference, I was gone last week, right? NAIC. But this deck's another deck that kind of popped up in the stead. It's real. It's the second best Shiinotic deck behind like Solg. It also has like a perceived good matchup into Buzzwole. But Shiinotic is just consistent. Shiinotic becomes an attacker in this because Magnetons generate their own energy. It's funny, like what, 4 months later? How many months has it been since the release of Spacetime Smackdown? Because this deck because Magnezone is still viable. Magnezone always finds its way. I enjoy playing Shiinotic. It made me win a tournament and now ranked 800 thanks to it. But I use Cape instead of Guzma and PCL. Deluge, a very strong tournament performer. They've been constantly in top 64s of Ursi days. I think you won. Yeah, you won one. Or you were close to winning one. I forgot. But you did win a tournament with it. It's a really strong list. They recommend Lily and Cape instead of Guzma and PCL. So that shows that you can run different versions. Magnezone is kind of future-proof because of Magneton. That's my thought. I hope that Onyx is future. I hope Brock is future-proof because of Steelix. So hopefully one day. But really cool, really cool. Other than that, I do have to talk about Darktina, as Darktina is one of the decks playing. Oh, they did lose. So they're not the 7-0 one. But this is one of these stronger deck lists that you can use. I won the last Gods League and then Ursi was the top 8. That's sick. What changed? So basically, this deck isn't used a lot on ladder because Buzzwole is everywhere. Yo, congrats, Pablon. But this deck is really strong. This deck is extremely strong, extremely, like, the Nihilego has shifted so much. It's just extremely consistent. If you're looking for a deck on ladder that isn't, like, Buzzwole, and you just want a consistent deck, you can always use Darktina. Lots of healing. Some lists are running Potion, Giant's Cape, PCL. Some lists are running double Cape. So really experiment with what makes the most sense for you. Nihilego is just an extremely solid card. Jiretzel put the words out of my mouth. But let's look at the deck that went 8-0, right? Sugar Water is currently the 8-0. And again, what did I say? The lists are all kind of the same, right? Research, double Luzamine, like double Erica. You get a hand rip card. You get double Gust, this time Repel. And this one's using Leaf Cape Rocky. So really cool to see. A lot of them are dropping the Pheromosa. It's not, you don't have to, right? There are players that are super successful. I know Z-Verum is also using double Pheromosa. But a lot of people have consolidated to make more room for trainers. And that is it for the meta update, right? I think that the standings are almost updated. So we'll get a little bit more soon. But every deck that has been up top... Oh! The final deck. The final deck that I didn't talk about is Palkia Silvally. This deck is a Simon deck double energy. Yes, Simon deck is Water Lightning. This deck is extremely big, extremely popular. Hey, Eugen. This deck has the Palkia, Manaphy, and this deck is supposed to have a good matchup into Buzzwole. I played 3 games and I lost all 3 of them. But this is another deck. Waters finally have its deck. The Power Rangers are finally here. Obviously, this guy went 6-1 a tournament the other day. A guy made top 4 with it. So this is the final deck of this format. It's cool to see Palkia become meta relevant. It's cool to see Water finally have a deck. Obviously, the sell is Misty because you can Misty up a Palkia and then still do 100. And if Misty flips a bunch of heads, you end up winning the game. So where would I put this deck if I was to rate these decks in a tier list? I would put that with all the Silvallys. I would put it in they're good, they could win, but they have some issues. And I would put the Magnezone Shiinotic deck up here in like B or like tier as well. So that's really it. Stoutland's art as well. Other than that, that is all that I have for you today. How are you guys liking the meta? Goodbye, YouTube. I also have to get ready for other things. So this is going to be a goodbye Twitch soon. But yeah, that's for today's meta update. What's up, EJ?
How does this even happen?
Good tier list. Thank you, Jeudy. But yeah, I've made day 2. So you guys will see me tomorrow, 10 a.m., right, PST, 1 p.m. EST. But I have obligations I have to get to now. So, thank you, YouTube.